We're going in the water. Yes!
The centerboard, man.
So this is day 2 of the Cockpit Locker Chronicles.
Hey there, we're Kirk and Lauren.
We bought a sailboat in Lake Michigan, traveled down the middle of the U.S. via the Mississippi, and sailed the Gulf of Mexico to the Bahamas and back.
We spent a decade paying off student debt
And figuring out how to financially live and work wherever we feel free.
Follow along as we share our struggles and triumphs, mishaps, and adventures. The journey is the destination. Right now, you're joining us in St. Augustine, Florida, where we're finishing up a handful of projects before getting the boat back on the water. In the last week or so, we've done a few things, like our mast is back up. Yay! Oh, hi, love.
Hi. So is most of our running rigging. And we discovered that some cleats have completely corroded and broken off of our boom. So I have to figure out how to pull those off. But we also discovered that our boom clears our new Dodger to Bimini connection, which is sweet.
By this much.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Because this is the lowest our boom will ever go. It's below horizontal, and our mainsail would hold it up higher than that. I suppose unless we're reefed.
But we probably won't have it up when we're doing that.
Probably not, no.
This was all by design, believe it or not. The reason that the Bimini extends just this far into the cockpit is because we had planned eventually to make a connector. So we calculated the angle of the connector would be just so that the boom would clear it just perfectly.
And it does.
And it does.
Not another dinghy. This is just foul weather gear.
Looks like you have a small store in your arms.
I think I do.
This is a giant box of foul weather gear and other sailing related attire from Rudder, which is a UK company.
And they are bringing their brand to the US, but they make a lot of foul weather gear.
And they're trying to work into the cruising market in the US. So they saw our channel and sent us a bunch of stuff. I'm really excited because I don't have any foul weather pants, and I'm always getting wet and cold on my lower half. So there's supposed to be some foul weather pants in here, and if there's nothing else, then I'll be happy.
Then
but
it's a giant pair of foul weather pants.
Yay, pants! Wow. What crap. Woo, look at this. This is the other thing that I thought was really neat. That's a pretty, oh nice.
That looks really nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's a black and a navy. Hey, you wanted a hat, didn't you? Oh, look at this.
What's that?
It is a Pro Aqua Fleece rigging coat.
Ooh.
All right, shall we?
Yep.
Oh, look at us. We're all matchy-matchy. Whoa.
Dig the color and the material though.
What's a rigging coat?
To just keep you out of the rain and dry.
Yeah?
That's why you're rigging the boat before it's a dinghy. This is dinghy stuff. So while you're getting the rigging all done.
It's all fuzzy on the inside, so it's super warm.
This is the wrong temperature to be trying all this stuff on.
Yeah, I know. It's like 78 degrees right now. Ooh.
I think these sleeves are a little too short though. But I like this. Awesome.
Okay, what about this?
Just like an everyday jacket.
Just going to town jacket.
Ooh, that looks really nice. That looks like it fits you perfectly.
Fits me perfectly. Yeah. Such a pretty color.
Good on you, Rooster.
I'm half naked.
Are you?
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, how does it compare to the one you have?
The one you have, I think, is thicker, it's heavier.
Yeah, it feels much softer in the arms. It would be interesting to do a side-by-side comparison. Because it's not until you're actually out there sailing that you realize if the pockets are in the right spot, if, you know, all these little doodads and whatnots are designed well.
Nice.
Oh, yes!
Seems like they got your size peg.
This actually makes me want to get out and sail in some crazy weather.
If we also got an autopilot.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That's not bad. It's pretty cool. So, verdict.
Well, it all seems like pretty awesome material.
Yeah. Thank you, Rooster.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was way more than we ever thought you were gonna send.
We will wear it and let you know what we think.
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
Going down.
We got a big spider web here.
This is how most of our boat projects start. Kirk goes on a reconnaissance mission while I'm at the computer getting my edit on. Sooner or later, I'll get roped into whatever he's working on, especially when it involves crawling into tight spaces like this, back in the stern above the rudder skeg. This is like the butthole of the boat.
Yeah, it is.
There's always a little bit of water here, apparently, and we're not really sure why. Previous owners had some theories, but yeah, this is, wow, that's nasty.
Yeah. It's very rusty though, huh?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's full of dirt.
Yeah.
Give me 5 minutes, and because those bolts don't look terrible.
Those bolts are what hold the pintle, a metal plate that attaches our rudder to the boat.
You wanna hand me the bucket? Are you tacoed?
No, I can't get the bucket past me until I get completely out.
No.
We wanted to inspect the nuts, washers, and bolts to make sure they were still in decent shape. The last thing we want is a rudderless ship.
We were gonna maybe drop our rudder to do this, but we found out that the bolts are actually welded to the pintle that goes from our skeg to our rudder. So we can loosen them from the inside and then retighten them. And we inspected it as best we could from the outside, and the pintle still looks pretty good, but we discovered that there were no lock nuts on the bolts on the inside, so we're gonna take off the nuts and replace them with the washer and a lock washer, and just add a little bit extra 4200 just to make sure things are sealed up nicely. Hopefully that does the trick. Yeah, what I need first actually is a cushion to sit on because my butt is sitting on an anchor and it's not very comfortable. Alright, so this is day 2 of the Cockpit Locker Chronicles. I've been down here for 2 days. No food, no water. Don't know if I'll ever get out of here. Just kidding. So yesterday we were resecuring the skeg bolts for our rudder assembly, and we wanted to start the engine before we launch so we know that we can motor out of the slip. We haven't really looked at the engine a whole lot since we've been back down to the boatyard this season, and we knew that we were gonna have to do some work. So our zinc totally disintegrated in there again, but we discovered that we had a couple of leaks. One around our anti-siphon valve for the cooling system, and the other was in a T-connector in the hose that ran to that anti-siphon valve that the previous owners had installed to be able to flush the cooling system to winterize the boat when the boat lived up in the Great Lakes over winter. Last year, I actually cleaned out our anti-siphon loop because it was sticking a little bit, and I noticed that we were starting to get a trickle leak. It ended up sticking very badly and leaking all over the place and shooting salt water all over our starter and our fuel filter and a few other things. So that wasn't cool. So I've since run a very small line of hose that I'm going to take very high up. Right now this hose runs out here and I've just got a long length of it. I'm probably going to take it out right through here, have it go up, come out. I'm not sure yet. What that'll do is that'll give us an anti-siphon loop with a vent without having the bronze check valve in there that gets all clogged up with salt when it dries. So we're going to try that out. And then we had this very short piece of hose that came off the T-connector and had a plug at the end of it, but unfortunately the plug leaked and that dripped straight down onto our transmission and corroded the crap out of that. So I cleaned that up as best as I could. Same with our starter, which was all rusty yesterday. I've gotten now a much longer hose so that we can still easily flush the cooling system. But now, hopefully, if the T-connector leaks, it will leak where I want it to leak. But also, it might just be nice to have a little bit longer hose to connect our flushing system onto. Now that I've got the starter cleaned up, I'm gonna spray paint it with some primer and some high heat engine paint.
Okay, you ready?
I don't know. No matter how many times we start the engine, it always makes me nervous. We're bringing Mr. Beak to life. You ready?
Ready.
Okay.
It's showtime.
Give him a little preheat, just since it's the first time. All right, buddy. Is it sucking up water?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have to mount that somewhere, not in the cockpit locker or the engine bay. It definitely does leak.
Yeah.
Let's check the to-do list. Our mast was stepped, the rigging run, and our engine and rudder checkups were completed. When we get to wood waxing the interior, we know splash day is just around the corner.
So we've been in this boatyard working in St. Augustine in Florida for the last 3 months, and we are launching tomorrow. It is time. Very, very excited. Then we're gonna be heading south. Getting south, hopefully to Miami-ish, and then we're gonna hop over to the Bahamas. All right, love, what do we have here?
This is our centerboard. We dropped it because we actually were in a yard that could get us up high enough to pull it out.
I'm taking out our centerboard pivot point.
Similar to our rudder, the centerboard relies on a few bits of hardware that need to be inspected from time to time.
Those bolts look brand new.
We're like 24 hours from launching here, and we just noticed we've got a little bit of rust on the leading edge, and we've got a few voids at the top of the centerboard up here that I'm going to fill with epoxy. So this is actually a cutlass bearing in the pivot point of the centerboard, which I thought was kind of cool. It's the way to lubricate the centerboard pin so that it will drop easily and come up easily. And it actually needs to be repaired also. So I mean that's fine for right now, but that's definitely on the repair list. Right now we're just gonna get us back out on the water. That evening, the yard put us in the sling so we could reinstall our centerboard before splashing the next morning.
All right, we're up. Now Kirk gonna have to figure out how to put the centerboard back in. Hopefully we're high enough. You don't want to be too high because you kind of need the ground to help hold the board because it's so heavy as you're maneuvering it in. But you need it high enough that you can skid it into the slot. So we'll give this a shot. What you got?
We just tied a messenger line onto the reeving loop at the end of our centerboard control line.
So mild change of plans. We are probably gonna put the centerboard in tomorrow after applying some epoxy right next to the, what do you call it, the centerboard hinge plate, because there's some exposed fiberglass. It'd be nice to just cover that up. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. It is supposed to be splash day. Kirk's already down prepping for us to put the centerboard back in the trunk. This is our first time actually putting the board back in because we've never taken it out before. So hopefully everything goes well. Hi.
Hi.
What do you got?
This is our centerboard pin. I couldn't remember which side the pin went on because this piece threads together. So I just figured it out. The pin goes on the port side on our boat. We're gonna slide it back. Right about there.
Now what? You have to jack it up on the blocks?
Let's try and... well, the whole thing has to slide forwards.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's take it. Yeah.
This centerboard, man, I don't know if it's worth it. I think if we didn't think we were gonna sell this boat one day, I probably would just fill it in. But if we do sell a boat, a lot of people like this boat because of the centerboard when they're racing.
Okay, all right.
Can we go back a little more?
With the blocks?
Yeah.
Yay, centerboards. Look at that. Kirk,
Huh.
we almost did it.
We did.
Look at this stack. What would have been really helpful is a third person to be able to tighten the centerboard pennant every time we lifted the board up a little bit to ensure that the line doesn't get pinched in between the trunk and the board. But what would have been even more helpful is a car jack. I'm gonna go winch the board up. Okay. The board is up, we got it in. We're gonna be splashing in like 10 minutes or maybe now. Yep, they just turned on the treble lift. We're going in the water. Yes.
Depending on how many jobs below the waterline we've just completed, how high the winds are that day, and the level of difficulty in navigating from the well to the dock, splash day is always some mixture of anticipation, trepidation, and exhilaration.
Right.
We're in the water.
But the excitement wasn't over for us just yet. If you've followed us for the last few years, you'll know that we've always had plans to start a family someday.
Okay, little person we don't know yet. This is how your mother and father lived before you were around.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a boat. A very cluttered boat.
Only because we're in the middle of a ton of projects. Cleaning being one of them. Alright, well, so we're a couple minutes away from finding out if you exist. That's pretty crazy. I feel like in the last 36 hours, I've been fairly confident that I'm pregnant.
Really?
Yeah. Like, not in a, oh my god, we're gonna have a baby kind of way.
A logical way, not like a superstitious way.
Exactly. And it hasn't really set in yet. But also, I'm still, like, I'm semi getting choked up thinking that this is all actually happening when I don't
We have no
really
idea.
know for sure.
So let's go check it out. Well, that's gonna change some things.
So...
I said wait 3 minutes.
It took all of 3 seconds.
Well, maybe it goes away and comes back.
I don't think that's how it works. I think once it arrives, you're stuck with it.
Is that kind of like a baby? Or are you talking about the test?
I was talking about the test.
Oh, okay.
David! What is happening?
Kirk, you didn't tell me you were wanted.